I don't know why my camera just kind of shrunk, but hi there, I'm Ron Juckett, and welcome to this happy recap on the Postgame show for this 23rd day of September 2017. Get my finger on my shirt, Ron. I'm Ron Juckett, and it's time for the DoDCast Postgame show following this impressive 4-3 win for the Washington Nationals over the New York Mets. Impressive by the fact that the bullpen got 5 scoreless innings again tonight. They seem to do well when I do these games. Daniel Murphy, the favorite player ever in Queens, with the game-winning home run at the top of the 10th, and he told everyone about it in the dugout. And on a night where Sammy Solis picks up the win, how about that? Why is this so small? Anyway, the totals: 4 runs, 10 hits, and no errors for the Nats, who now have a magic number of 1 for the number 2 seed. They go to 93 and 61 on the year. The Mets moved to 66 and 88. Sammy Solis with his first win of the year, first decision of the year. That makes him 1-0. Rhame, R-H-A-M-E, takes the loss. He goes to 0-1. He's one of those Mets prospects that getting some playing time, coffee cup with the big club. And Sean Doolittle with his 23rd straight save and his 20th as a member of the Nats. Trey Turner 1 for 5, some great defensive plays. Big night for Daniel Murphy. He goes 2 for 5. Anthony Rendon with 3 walks, and Adam Lind 2 for 2, drove home 2 runs. Mets were up 3-0 in the third off of Strasburg, who started the ball game, or Steven Strasburg. And then Strasburg had a few words with the ump and retired 7 straight. So the Nets tied it in the 5th and pulled ahead in the 10th with Murphy's home run. They actually got a big boost from Matt Wieters, who homered in the 5th inning. It was his 10th off of Matt Harvey, who doesn't look good. It's the first time I've seen him pitch. It doesn't look good. He doesn't look good. He doesn't look even remotely the same pitcher that he did before the batch of injuries. They're picking on me in the private chat, by the way. So overall, another good night for the Nats. They waited patiently for the Mets bullpen to do its thing, and it did. The Nats, if you're, looking for something that should concern you come playoff time, 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position tonight, and they stranded 10. But they now have a franchise record 206 home runs as Lind, Wieters, and Murphy all homered. And Daniel Murphy with his 42nd double of the year. Trey Turner with his 23rd double of the year. And in fact, Murphy now has 90 RBI. Lind is 57. That's pretty good. So the winner is Sammy Solis. Steven Strasburg started this one off. 5 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs, all earned. He walked 1 and struck out 6. ERA goes to 2.68. Matt Albers with a clean 6th inning. He's had a lot of those this year, hasn't he? 1.69 ERA. Brandon Kinsler allows a hit in the 7th, but that's it. Ryan Manson struck out the side in the 8th on 11 pitches. Sammy Solis strikes out 2 in the 9th for his first win, does not give up a hit. And Sean Doolittle worked around the walk to strike out 2 for his 23rd save. Strasburg, 83 pitches, 56 strikes. Albers, 7 for 5. Kinsler, 14 for 10. Manson, 11 for 9. As I said, Solis, 18 for 13. And Doolittle, 23 for 15. It's Max Scherzer and Jacob deGrom tomorrow at 1 o'clock at Citi Field. That will be the last game of the year between the Nats and the Mets. And unless the Nats and Yankees make the World Series, it'll be the last game for this year for the Nats in the city of New York. So, I guess some random thoughts as I go through there. It was great to see Rendon walk. I believe he's now the 3rd position player of the year in the National League to have more walks than strikeouts. His 3rd walk of the night gives him 81 walks compared to 79 strikeouts. Daniel Murphy always does nasty things to the New York Mets. The double and the home run gave him 6 total bases tonight. It takes an awful lot to get a ball out of Citi Field. Lynn's shot a couple years ago would not have been a homer. It was in the party deck that they added to Citi Field because the Mets couldn't hit any home runs a few years ago. Strasburg, of course, had cramp problems again. It was a warm night in New York in the low 80s. It was a warm night here in Vermont. It was 81 most of the day. And had calf trouble again tonight. Pitched around it, ran once, didn't look very good. But once he got upset, I believe he got upset at a Brandon Nimmo check swing or a Cabrera check swing that was not called a strike. And so after the inning, Strasburg was rather animated with the home plate umpire. I should already scrolled up for the scoreboard. And then was rather animated with Mike Maddox. Not that he was upset with Maddox, but he chatted for a good 5-10 minutes after that play. And then he set down 7 straight, which is what you want to do. I don't know if they – I mean, I can't imagine Strasburg – well, Strasburg will pitch one more time before the postseason. I can't imagine that will be a full start for him. So, all good stuff for the Nats. Like I said, the magic number for clinching the number 2, at least the number 2 seed, is 1 because let's go through the scoreboard today. Wait, I got to do this right. I got yelled the last time I did a scoreboard was the first score on my list was a Baltimore Yankee game. And since the Yankees lost, I was spoken to rather sharply by someone about that. So let me do this right. The Yankees 5, the Blue Jays 1. And the Yankees, by the way, have clinched their 19th playoff spot in the last 23 seasons. For the record, it is the 6th game on my list of scores in the top row. But the Yankees 5, Toronto 1. Finals from today, a magnificent game from Milwaukee. If you watched on Fox, a walk-off homer by Travis Shaw. as the Brewers come back to beat the Cubs 4-3 in 10 innings. All 3 of those games so far has gone into extra innings with the Cubs winning 2. Some of those rather harsh wins. Let's see, games that matter. That are final. Lance Lynn didn't make it out of the first inning tonight. He gave up 8 walks or 8 runs in the first. Pittsburgh beats St. Louis 11-6. Big win for the Brewers because of that St. Louis loss, and for Colorado. But Colorado's not taking advantage. They trail San Diego in the top of the 7th, 2-0, but they have 2 runners on. Tampa beat Baltimore tonight 9-6. Atlanta downs Philadelphia 4-2. Miami leads Arizona 7-6 in a topsy-turvy game down in the desert. Giancarlo Stanton with his 57th home run of the year. J.D. Martinez has 2 home runs himself. Oakland leads Texas 1-0 in the 7th. I'm forgetting the name of the player, but the backup catcher Maxwell, I believe his last name was Maxwell, was the first baseball player to kneel for the national anthem following an interesting day on Twitter between the president and the NBA and the NFL. He did hold his hand over his heart. And I think that takes care of the scoreboard. Let's see if anyone has anything to say in the chat. Nobody has anything to say in the chat. So, overall, a very good night. These are the games that you want to see the Nats win. You'd like to see Steven Strasburg get emotional. It's important. You'd like to see them continue to battle back. Ryan Zimmerman did not play. Howie Kendrick played first after Lynn went out. Overall, again, just a night to be patient and let things happen. You're in the deep bullpens now. The Mets used 9 pitchers. Noah Syndergaard was through the first inning. He threw 5 pitches. He was only supposed to throw the first inning. And like I said, Matt Harvey did not look that great. So unless anyone has anything to say in the chat, which may or may not be used against me at a later date, I'm giving Ricky Keeler an ultimate opportunity to take a shot at me here. Let's see if he actually does. So a good night for the Nats, 4-3. That's Bruce Maxwell, who was born on an army base in Germany. So I think that says some volumes about things. All right. Well, since you guys really don't want to talk, maybe we'll do this tomorrow afternoon after the game. It is Max Scherzer versus Jacob deGrom. My thoughts on Howie Kendrick playing first. Someone put into Twitter at one point tonight, Ricky, that you explore every possible opportunity for October. And you know what? I'm surprised, Ricky, that Defoe didn't get some time at first. It would just give him another position where he could possibly be the super utility player. Defoe, by the way, had a pinch hit. In his last 5 pinch hits, he's had 2 hits, which is a good sign. But to directly answer your question, I'm fine with it. You know, it's an infield position. This is a time of year you can experiment. It didn't hurt the team at all. Certainly helps Kendrick's value if he's open to playing all these positions, whether the Nets decide to keep him or not. So I think it's a good thing all around. Well, Ricky answers that. I can tell you that I did a piece today on my thoughts on Edwin Jackson. Probably should at the end of the line following a loss, and then Ricky did a piece. Don't think he's at Ricky responds first. Don't think he's ever played the position. Think they would have been better off with Lynn against Blevin since he couldn't find the plate. Yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you on that. You know, it's time to experiment. Ricky and I were talking today about what the Brewers should have done with the Cubs, and didn't really matter because they wanted a walk-off homer. So, I'm not going to disagree with that. You know, I think Zimmerman is just getting rested for the weekend. Everyone's kind of feeling little aches and pains this time of year, and it's Zimmerman's turn to rest. Besides, Linda is a pretty decent player. So, what would you think about Defoe playing first? Let's try to remember what you actually wrote about this morning. You can tell me that too. Tomorrow we'll have our Player of the Week and more on what appears to be the end of Sean Kelly's season. He couldn't feel his fingers again after pitching on Friday night, as most of you know. Same injury that he had in Game 5 of last year's National League Divisional Series. It may have been around most of the year. It might explain why he has had such a terrible year. So we'll have a piece on that, and whoever Drew selects for Player of the Week. Ricky wrote about how teams are running on Matt Wieters in September. Especially, remember the Dodgers stole 3 bases off Steven Strasburg into kind of an interesting thing, Rick, that Strasburg has shortened his leg kick, or did tonight, on with runners on base to try to prevent just for that. But yeah, going into tonight's game, the opponents were 8 for 9 stealing bases off of Wieters this month. So it is something to watch. It was a good piece by Ricky, and it is something to watch for the playoffs. And give this video a like and subscribe on YouTube. Follow on Twitter at District.Deck. We do this for every game except for the last 4 against the Pirates. I think we're just going to cut back on that such meaningful series. But we will do we will do certainly Harper's first game back in the entire 3 games against the Phillies. And of course on Facebook, you can give us a like there as we publish everything and along with all these videos. Ricky says he really had to battle, and I would think Dusty just to play it safe after 5 innings. Need 5 for 200, I believe. That's actually a very good accomplishment for Strasburg. I think he's only done that once before. And I would imagine it's a 5-inning limit, regardless of what his pitch count is. 200 Ks. Okay, 5 for 200 Ks. He should get that, but I do think it's going to be roughly 5 innings or 75, 80 pitches whenever he throws next. He'll pitch in the Pirate series. He won't pitch against the Phillies. It's all about being ready for either Game 2 in Washington against probably the Cubs, or that Game 3 at Wrigley Field. My guess is I'm with Ricky on this one. I think it's Game 3. I think you go with Gio at home, who's had the hotter hand. But you can't get much hotter than Strasburg. So I wonder what that decision will be. It's nice to be able to make that decision. As I said, it's Max Scherzer and Jacob deGrom tomorrow. And for the rest of tonight, I'm Ron Juckett. I will see you. Avoid the humidity. I will talk to you tomorrow. Have a good night, everybody.